everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all the engagement. I really appreciate the love and support that all of you guys are giving me on this channel. It does mean a lot, and it's very encouraging to me that a lot of the content that I'm producing can actually help people, and it's something that people do value a lot, right? So today's topic is, how to be healthy, right? Let me first start by prefacing this, as always, is that I'm not an expert. I'm not a medical expert. I'm not a health expert, but I do think that there's just certain things that I've done in terms of the way I live my life and certain practices and principles that I live by that put me in a pretty healthy state and healthy, let's just say I'm a pretty healthy person in my own opinion. So I want to share with you guys what these principles are and a bit of this knowledge, and hopefully that can also make you become a much more healthy person, right? So when it comes to health, health is the most fundamental thing that you need as an individual, right? Like, health is something, it's such a very broad term that encompasses every area of our lives, right? When you say health, a lot of people just think about just the physical side of health, right? But health, there's the mental health, there is financial health, there is spiritual health, emotional health, and also physical health, right? So there are all these areas that health just encompasses. So when you're thinking about health, you want to think about it holistically, and you want to think about it, how can I be healthy and wholesome in all these areas that you deal with, right? So now let's talk a bit about what are some of these areas, right? We'll start with the most commonly known one, which is physical health, right? With physical health, you want to make sure that you're active always, be it whether you're hitting the gym and lifting weights, which is something that I do regularly, or whether you're doing a sport, or maybe you jog, you run, you always want to have a physical activity that, raises your heart rate, increases your cardiovascular strength, and essentially prolongs or essentially gives you longevity, right? If you have a healthy body, right, you're able to perform a lot better. You're able to, when you have a healthy body, you're able to perform a lot better. You genuinely feel a lot better about yourself, both internally and externally. So, prioritize your physical health, get into the gym, build the type of body that you want to build, or, take on a sport, or, just some form of physical exercises that you can do and that you can practice on a regular basis that can keep you fit and healthy, right? Now, the next area that health affects is your financial health, right? A lot of people don't think about you can be financially unhealthy. So what does being financially healthy look like, right? It is spending way beyond your means, taking on a lot of debt to spend it on not ridiculous things, but taking debt to, finance a holiday, or to, pay for a meal. And, if you can't afford certain things, right, and you're extremely in debt, right, in my opinion, I think you're financially unhealthy, right? So what does financially being healthy mean is that, having good money management principles, making sure that you budget things, making sure that you have enough money to save, enough money to live your life, enough money to pay your rent. If you have kids, pay for your kids' school fees and whatnot, and your food, all these things, right? Just being able to manage your finances well enough, such that you don't feel there aren't any areas of your life that are losing out because you're mismanaging your money, right? So it's very, very important, having a budget. It's important. I personally don't have a budget, but I do have a savings rate that usually I prioritize above every other expense, right? I always make sure that I save a proportion of my money every single month before I spend it on anything else, right? So make sure you're financially healthy, make sure you're not mismanaging your money. Um, Set yourself a budget if you need a budget. There are different things you can do. You can create separate accounts to manage um, different areas of your life. This is something that I used to do. Like I used to have a rent bank account. I used to have an entertainment bank account. I used to have a bank account for food and groceries. And the way I'll just manage my finances is that whenever I need to do a certain expense, whether it's pay rent or buy food or go out, I'll just use the card that corresponds to that specific activity. So in a sense, that's some form of budgeting, because what I'll do is I'll assign a specific percentage on a monthly basis that I want to spend, and I'll just make sure to just divert the funds to those specific accounts. So that's something that you can do if you want to go the budgeting route. Okay. The next area of health is mental health, right? This is such, like, I could go on about this topic for long, because it's something that has affected me personally. I have definitely experienced situations where my mental health was not good at all, and having come back from that experience, right, I do feel I'm in a position where I can actually speak about this and give advice on this specific topic, right? So when it comes to mental health, right, a lot of the mental health issues that some people could be experiencing, be it depression, for example, depression, right? A lot of it ties to sort of the habits that an individual has, right? So an example is that, if you're someone who is, as an example, constantly playing video games, eating junk food, maybe you're masturbating a lot, and you're not doing things that are very fulfilling, like those sort of habits are detrimental to your health, right? You're gonna be in this very depressive state all the time because you're not doing things that are beneficial to you, right? You're not doing things that have a positive impact on your life, right? So the first thing is you want to get rid of all the habits that have a negative effect on your mental health. I did mention a few of them, right? Some of these things, like, everything that I say, take it with a grain of salt, but a lot of these things, right, you don't want to overdo any of these habits that I mentioned previously, the ones that I mentioned that are negative. Some good mental health habits are meditating. Meditation is such a powerful thing, being able to just calm your mind. It sort of builds your mental muscle, because whenever you're faced with anything challenging, or you're faced with anything that is supposed to, like I said, challenge you mentally, right? Being able to pause and reflect and just be calm in that situation is such an important skill. And meditation allows you to develop that, right? With meditation, this is something that I do regularly. I meditate every single morning for 10 minutes. And I will say this, that over the course of over 5 years of just consistently meditating, like, I'm a very calm person. I don't get frazzled. I don't get anxiety. I don't get, scared or tense about whatever it is. And because I've just learned to train my mind to be very calm, and to just pause and just sort of be able to approach things logically than emotionally. And meditation really does help with that, right? The other habit I'd say is gratitude journaling. This is something that I started doing for about, I think it's maybe been, I'd like to say 6 months now. It is something that just fills you with so much joy, so much appreciation, so much gratitude. Being grateful about the things you have, being grateful about your day, it really does have a positive effect on your mental health. So it's a practice that I recommend anyone to do. Every day in the morning, just wake up, start by just writing 3 things that you're grateful for, and then just consistently make this a habit on a day-to-day basis. That together with meditating, I can give you for a fact that if you do this consistently for 3 months, 6 months, a year, your mental state will be so much better than when you initially started, right? So one more thing I do want to touch about when it comes to mental health is that There are some areas in mental health that these habits I had mentioned cannot help, right? And if you're someone who's facing you are in this specific state where even these best practices for improving your mental health, they can't really help you as much, right? I would recommend you go this route, which is seeking professional help, right? A lot of us have childhood traumas. A lot of us have a lot of baggage that we need to deal with. And when I was going through my when I was struggling mentally, I did see a therapist, and like it did really help me a lot, sort of digest, analyze, and recover from what it is what I was trying to deal with. So I'd highly recommend go see a therapist. If you can't afford one, try to talk to your friends. Try to just have a very open conversation with them. If they're willing, very key, like if they're willing to listen, because the last thing you want to do is overload someone with your own issues, because everybody has stuff that they're also dealing with. Um, One more thing I did forget to mention when it comes to the habits to improve your mental health is working out. Like that is something that, try this. If you're ever in a very poor mental state, just go work out. I kid you not, if you don't come back feeling better, then I don't know, man, like you're just some, I don't know. I guess I'm wrong, right? But, when you work out, you release endorphins in your body, right? Please look up what endorphins are, right? These are, what do you say? When you work out, it releases endorphins in your body that generally improve your mood and make you feel better. So please work out on a regular. I did mention this in the physical health, you want to be actively working out, and that can really improve your mental health. Another thing is socializing with people. If you're someone if you constantly spend a time by yourself, right, you can really get into a mental rut because you can get caught up in your own way of thinking. So if you spend some time, speaking with other people and socializing, that can remove you, prevent you from, making yourself get into a mental rut, right? So that's mental health. Now let's speak about emotional health, right? Yeah, emotional health it's an interesting one. I mean, it's something that I'm trying to figure out currently. And emotional health comes from your relationships, right? It comes from how much love that you have in your life, that you have around you. Something that I've been actively doing is expressing my love to the people I care about all the time. Be it my guy friends, my girlfriends. Like I'm always constantly just like showing them that I love them in any way I can. And genuinely, it does make me feel emotionally healthy just doing that. And I also feel like it allows the people in my life to also be expressive in that sense. So that's my 2 cents when it comes to emotional health. That you want to have good relationships with people that you really care about, that you love. People who have your best interests at heart, who want to see you grow, who want basically the best for you. And it's a very, very important and key thing. Yeah. So the final area of health is your spiritual health. I'm not gonna dive too deep into this because this is something that's very subjective. This is something that depends on the individual. It depends on how you're raised. It depends on the environments you grew up in. But for me, I serve my spiritual health through religion. I'm a Catholic, so I regularly go to church. I regularly pray. And like from my there is something there is something quite beneficial in going to church and believing in a higher power, and just understanding the principles that a lot of these religions teach. Because a lot of the religions, like their fundamental principles are around love, teach you about humility, teach you about respect, they teach you about hope, which is a very important thing for anyone in life, right? We all need to have hope that things will work out and things can be better, right? So if you're someone who wants to improve your spiritual health, my suggestion is, just become, if you're someone who wants to improve your spiritual health, my suggestion is, you could just improve your religious life. Go to whatever religious serve whichever religious affiliation that works for you. And over time, the more you invest into it, and the more dedicated you are to it, I genuinely feel that your spiritual health will improve over whatever period of time. So yeah, guys, those are my insights when it comes to how to become healthy. Let me know in the comments what you think about this specific video. Leave a like, share it with as many people as you can. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. But thank you so much for joining me on this episode, on this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.